Okay, we've seen those before, right? It should be automatic. What got done here? -5, -1, right? Which brought it up here, didn't it? Okay. So we did a rotation. Which way? That way, right? Okay. Or -270 maybe. Why would you do that, right? Rotation. Let's just be clear. 90 degrees. Let's see, counterclockwise. And we need the point, so we need the degrees, the direction, and the point for a rotation, right? For you credit. About, so -5, -1. Then what? Reflection. And x equals, what is it? No. -5. I don't know why I circled that. Okay? We've seen that one before. All right. So similar for number 10 is kind of similar to this one. Look at that. And this is going to be important to note here, okay? So you know what corresponds to what. Which way you're going. Have this 180 degrees? Well, first of all, what triangle are we starting with? ABC. Okay. We're starting with this guy. And we need, okay, so a rotation of 90, about what point? We could choose any of them, right? But depending on which rotation center point we pick, it's going to make our next step a little different, won't it, right? So if I rotate about B, then my next step will be different than had I rotated about A. See what I mean? Let's rotate about B. Let's see where that puts us. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, there, right? Like that, okay? So C ends up over here, okay? And then A is what, here, like that? Or prime, I should say, okay? So we'll do that. So let's get that written down. So rotation, degrees, 90 degrees, direction. I mean, it's positive 90, but remember, we don't want to leave that up to chance, right? Clockwise or counterclockwise? CCW, about what? We only coordinate, right? They've got it labeled. We could just call it point B, right? Point B. And then, what do we need to do? Okay, translation. A translation.
Down 6 over 2.
So what?
Can I have your attention, please?
Down
At
6
this
right.
time, all students participating in the Winter Circle project grade carport should report to the middle school cafeteria. This includes students from art, sports and entertainment marketing, and AE that have been
Okay.
designated by our teachers to attend.
What, hey,
Attention teachers, a revised list of students participating will be sent via email shortly after 9 o'clock. Thank you.
could I write it like this? With a little composition thing. And now we go to the first thing. Rotation. Yep. What's our subscript? What point do we rotate around?
B.
B, comma, positive 90, right? If you want either one of those, is fine. Use your notation, use your words. Doesn't matter. Okay? Okay. Let's take a peek at number 11. Everybody have that? Read it carefully. You're going to check some stuff. Which tells you that we had a reflection. Okay? A reversed because, look, A, B, C, RST, right? A, B, C, we're reading it counterclockwise, and RST goes clockwise, okay? And we just need to figure out the line. I'm a little off there, right? That line is y equals negative x, okay? So the question is, are they congruent? Why are they congruent?
Because they're the same shape. Why do you say this is the first?
Well, because what did we do to them? Well, let me say it this way. We reflected them, and reflections are what? Range of motion, yeah, okay? Okay? So I would say yes, triangle RST isn't it the image of what? Triangle, what? What's the only other triangle? ABC after a what? There we go. And y equals negative x, right? And what about reflections? So reflections are rigid motions right? That, well, how should we finish? There's a bunch of ways we can finish that out. Okay. Which, how about they preserve what? Lengths and angles, right? Regular rigid motions that preserve distances. Distance and angles.
May I have your attention, please, just to clarify the previous announcement, all 80 students that were in 80.
Now there's different ways you can word this, but you just get the gist of it, right? Okay? And they're usually looking for some, you know, sentence, paragraph kind of thing. Yes, sir.
So wait, the announcement doesn't come out of that thing?
No, I see that wire head run
Oh.
because that years ago that speaker was so ridiculously loud. I wanted to be able to turn it down. So I just ran a speaker wire around, hooked it up into that. That's true. I am a smart man. Yes.
You can just shut it off.
I see. I exercise absolute authority over my domain. Yeah. Okay. Last one, number 12. This one will be probably a little simpler to. And I would say whenever they, like in the question, they tell you that certain things are congruent, you should go and mark those things congruent with the diagram to help you think about it, okay? They didn't give us enough information to even say the number of degrees it rotated or the center point or anything. We could say the direction of rotation. We don't even really need to know what about point C. Why couldn't it have rotated about some point over here? It could have, right? Then followed by a translation to get it over here. There's not enough information there. So what can we say? We could say the direction of rotation. What direction would they have to rotate to get lined up with that? Okay. So I'm thinking probably a clockwise rotation followed by what? Yeah. Then you would definitely have to translate it by a translation. Right? Okay. And it did say sequence, so we need more than one. And by the way, let's just say, it didn't really help us. I guess it did. Let's mark AB and DE congruent, right? We should have done that to begin with. AB congruent to DE, see what I'm doing here? AC to DF, so I'm going to use double ones now, right? And then for the angle A, congruent to angle D. So that tells you how, it probably should have done that, we can tell you how it matches up. Okay? All right, well, there's quite a few of them.